Blossom, where did it come from? So I was just sitting on a chair in my back garden, and this is the beautiful views I get, and it's very, very solitary, and I can kind of see fields just behind me over here, and I was just kind of like, I think it was a Sunday morning, just 10 o'clock, and I was sitting with a cup of coffee, just strumming away on this very cheap and nasty guitar, but this is kind of what I do a lot of writing on, so I can travel with it, and it gets hammered and there's tape holding it together, but it is what it is. And I was just kind of playing on my D minor, because it's one of my favourite chords. I'm always a kind of minor person, I don't know why, I prefer that. It's just my default, I think, basically. I'm not trying to sound like Spinal Tap, but yeah, the old D minor. And yeah, just kind of like looking out at the field and not really looking at my fingers, and just thinking and not really thinking, and this kind of popped out, which is kind of nothing unusual with the D minor. It's just kind of like playing around some root notes basically, and then a sort of more of a kind of very simple change, going to a just a C major to kind of offset that minor feel, because I'm trying to play a bit more with minors and majors, so you kind of like start with a minor, but then you give like an uplift of a major, give you something to look forward to, and then obviously the reflection to that is back to a D minor again. And I was kind of just playing with those chords and just seeing the views and looking out at the fields, and I think the first words was like in the ache of space, you know, where you know, when something's achingly beautiful, achingly, I love that kind of like, it puts a negative connotation on something beautiful as well. So again, I enjoy playing with the words aspects, where it's not all just this positive, but kind of bringing in the different aspects and sides to emotions really. So it's kind of just seeing this beautifully aching space. So it's kind of in the ache of space. And then what? And then I guess just looking around, there's trees. So, you know, through the screams of the blossom tree. Don't have a blossom tree, just had a nice ring to it. But the birds were just kind of calling from the trees, and almost like screaming, which sounds, you know, quite, again, sad and negative, but for me it was a kind of a beautiful moment at that point in time. And that's kind of the just beginning of where the song came from, just like this feel of it. I think it's a waltz. It's got a, you know, it's a 4/3, I think. I tend to do a lot of waltzes these days. Don't know why. Again, it's like, give me a minor chord in a waltz, and I'll be there all day. Honestly, that's kind of where I am these days. And then just the offset. In this broken house. Didn't really have the words for that at that point in time, and I wasn't too sure. This song hadn't really got an aim or an ambition yet. Just kind of just really getting a structure. I tend to work with more. I try and build the structure of a song first, to kind of give me a sense. I work with more the emotive side, so it tends to be music first, lyrics later, every time. It's very rare I have words first. And then the chorus was just quite straightforward. So the chorus, F major and a C and a G, all three chords, three majors. Sounds lovely. Then back to D minor, really. So that was it. I kind of recorded it quite quickly, passed it to the boys, got a sense check of like, hey, took it in the studio, and we kind of just jammed around it a little bit. And then that was quite straightforward. So it's very simple: a verse, a bridge, and a chorus, a verse, a bridge, and a chorus. And then trying to add in what's that middle eight going to sound like, or what I'm going to do with it. So with a piano player, Tim I can always kind of look over to him over my shoulder, then he'll be able to pull something out of a pot, and that's when the sort of breakdown started happening. So that's where the structure, we kind of had like a structure in there. Then it was like lyrically what it's about, and it was probably, once recorded it a few times in rehearsals, I kind of got a sense of what this thing was, this song, this being, because I guess I perceive a song as like having an entity, having an identity as well, and what's it trying to be. And I think with the length of the song, and especially the breakdown in the sort of middle eight and the big crescendo it's becoming, it kind of had that epic feel to it. And my brain just naturally took this whole song to be like a kind of a Quentin Tarantino Shakespearean finale shootout in a house, and that's the images I was getting in my head of what this song was about. So that gave me now a kind of a plot of what this song is. I try not to write too many songs where it's just about my feelings. There's always feelings involved in songs. Of course they are, because you're writing the lyrics, but I'm more now in my elderly years. I tend to try and have a plot, a purpose, a story that the song's trying to transpose, or trying to communicate. And from that, I then started kind of having this storyline of like the protagonist, the victim, call him what you will, literally telling the story at the end. So he's the narrator telling what the story was, and that's the beginning of the story, coming at the end. So hence, as a Quentin Tarantino, where the end's at the beginning, and then really the whole the breakdown and the big crescendo is that kind of Mexican standoff in a house, where I'm perceiving it as where basically the bad guys, whoever they are, has basically taken this guy, stormed into his house and obliterated his family, and he was there just to witness it. The reason behind it, I don't know. Maybe he was a bad guy himself, I don't know. But that's kind of where this story has evolved from. Really, it's the feature of basically the house, where this house, where this big annihilation's taking place of this family. So the sadness is kind of evolved around this house, and it's kind of a build-up of introducing the house, of its settings, and clues of what's going on, of what the story's about. And that's kind of where we are with the song, really. So it's a sad song. It's quite dark. I seem to relate with a lot of the darker elements of lyrics and darker elements of narratives these days. I don't know why. Again, it just kind of speaks to me an awful lot. I am trying to write more happy words and lyrics, but I tend to try and be a servant to the song and what the song's demanding in itself. So hence the song comes first and the words come later, and it's trying to be sympathetic to what the song needs, to what the words are coming to, with the epicness of what Blossom is. I feel it needed an epic storyline, and it doesn't get much more epic than that. So there we go. So it's a pretty simple song, really, in terms of chords. It's very emotive. The shades of the day, from dark to night, and how loud and the quiet as well. So it's using the emotives as opposed to more clever writing, really. So, and there we go. That's Blossom.